Great evening, friends. What a guan. Everything cool? Nice. So, get comfortable and have a little chat with my friends out there in the universe. What would I like to say? Ahem. Well, talking about clearing my throat or coughing, yeah, we've become health and cough experts, haven't we? How do I mean? So, for example, your neighbour coughs, everybody in the house fucking freezes for a second, and then you all smell weed, and you're like, that's all right then. Yeah? You're in a restaurant, you walk out, and you see somebody coughing on the fucking floor. You start panicking, you want to end Corona, so you run over to kick the fucker. And your family stop you, they say, no, he's choking on a chicken bone, leave him. And you say, oh, thank fuck for that. Everything's all right then. Yeah, so we've become cough specialists, haven't we? You know, we can hear a moth cough from around the corner. Can we be like that motherfucker's gonna get it? Oh, I love my own jokes. Okay, anyway, what's the whole point of this
podcast? It's my first ever podcast. Bravo! Yay!
podcast? What's the point? The point is this, my fam. I like to do this funny thing called thinking. That's what I've been doing. I think a lot, you know. I do. They say the average person has about 60,000 thoughts per day. And I would guess that most of those people's thoughts are either boobies or pussy or donuts, isn't it? Not necessarily in that order, but being recycled consistently all day. Yeah. The point I try to make is that I think a lot. And I always try to stretch the boundaries to a different place that most people aren't thinking. Because, as we all know, the road less travelled is not very crowded. It's not very crowded along that extra mile. Because most people are too busy sitting down, putting sweet things or carbohydrate things, which are basically sweet things, into their mouths while they are entertained by what certain industries want them to be entertained by. It keeps the current system healthy. Keeps us all unhealthy to keep the system unhealthy. If you follow that, if you subscribe to it, of course. So that's where I'm going with this. Excuse me. Clearing my throat cough, just for your information. There you are. Nothing too drastic. Wow, what's happened to us, eh? In the space of a couple of weeks. It's like they say, isn't it? If you work for 10 years at your craft, suddenly you could become an overnight success. 10 years of work, overnight success. Well, I wonder how long they've been working to get this global lockdown success and get people vibrationally, globally scared. The majority of us. I mean, I'll put my hands up and say that sometimes I get a little bit scared of Corona. I do. I get a little bit scared of it. And then I think, what the fuck? What the fuck? Really? Yeah, I do. I think, what the fuck, man? I mean, come on. There's people getting fucking hit by buses, 20 times more often. And, yeah, okay. I get it. Pandemic.
Panic, demic, panic, demic, panic.
That's all we hear is
Panic, pandemic, boom, boom, pandemic, panic, boom, pandemic.
Okay, I'm done with that now, alright? Anybody who rips that off is gonna get some cement boots and stuff, you know? Anyway. Pandemic. So, there's so much to talk about, isn't there? But the thing is, I'm going to talk about some different things, right, that most people aren't talking about. Like, for example, where have all the motherfucking terrorists gone? You know, the ones that weren't allowed to wear masks through the airports or in the streets before. Remember all those poor Muslim ladies they dragged in France, and they were like, no, you're not allowed to wear no, I'll do the French accent. No, you are not allowed to wear, to swear. I can't do it. But they stopped these poor, beautiful Muslim people, right, from going about their business, as in living and caring for their families and trying to make an honest living. And they accused them of being guilty by saying, no, you cannot wear your mask, man. No. You come to my country. And they're like, we just, And they're like, no, you don't wear. Anyway, there's been a lot of this sort of stuff, isn't it? I mean, even for us Westerners, if we put a hood on or if we put like, a mask on, for example, they're like, hey, yo, take it off or I'm going to tase you. So the point is, all of a sudden, masks are good. Hang on a minute. If everybody's wearing masks, that means the terrorists can hide behind masks and perform mass terrorism, right? It's not happening, though, really. It's not happening. So where are the terrorists? Because I had a thought about this. I thought there were 2 teenage girls that were coughing on produce and videoing themselves for a bit of fun, a bit of fun, as you do as a teenager. Pretend you're spreading a plague, Yeah, cough, bit of plague there, doesn't hurt. Well, just half the population, fun, haha. So I find it very difficult to believe that these 2 girls are a bit sharper than most of our evil terrorists. Yeah, because let's face it, if anything, they would be the ones developing these viruses, wouldn't they? Really? Hang on a second. Who did? So maybe it was terrorists who made this virus. Hang on a second. That would point towards. Anyway, that's another story. So let's get back to the mass. So let's be real now. If there were anywhere near the amount of terrorists that we were led to believe, and anywhere near the threat, the danger threat that good old news, tells us, then I'm sure they would have capitalised on this and got a few of those corona bacteria in their nose, and because they're supposed to be the narrative is that if they commit suicide or something like that, aren't they promised like 40 virgins in heaven? Sign me up for that, please. I think I'm going to convert to no, that's fine, I'm okay. So I think we can put 1 and 1 together here and say that the terrorists, right, all of the terrorists that have been causing all the problems in the world, have together decided to find a bit of compassion, not spread the coronavirus at all, and self-quarantine. That's what they're doing. So they've got a bit of compassion. And then after that, once the whole world self-quarantined and we're all happily ever after, then they're going to come out and destroy us. They're going to be like, no, I'm coming for you now. You've had your you. That's what they're going to be like, right? Yeah. No, not at all. It's a fact. So the fact is, the terrorists don't exist. It's a fact. Because if they did, they would have had the means to get their hands on some of this, a bit of corona, share it amongst their friends, and then they got 14 days to jump all over the world. They could still do it now. They could still do it now. Don't tell me that these teenage girls, right, have got more initiative than a professional. I mean, if I was a professional terrorist, I'd be rubbing my terrorist hands together, right? Because I know the opportunity of getting my terrorist rocks off in terrorist heaven with all those virgins. I'd be sign me up to that corona right now. So clearly, just do the maths. Just see how much they've been funking us in the name of danger. Where's the danger? Why aren't they? Why isn't anything happening? So that's one point, which is a valid point, really. And a point worth mentioning. I feel Okay, the other point is this. I was researching the other night, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning when I woke up. Who knows? Jet lag. And what I found was... Now, this is a bit of a fucking... What's the word? Clanger, guys. I'm going to drop here now. It's a bit of a fucking clanger, right? So brace yourself for this shit, right? Because I'm not saying this to freak you out, but I am saying this to inform you, right? Let's just look at the narrative, the majority of everybody's following, shall we?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go in my room. I'm going to do squat thrusts. I'm going to self-quarantine for 14 days. Yes. That's going to solve everything.
No, not at all, not at all. And here's why. Because people are being reinfected. Yeah, that's right. If you just read up a little bit, you'll see that, as far as I read, this was 2 days ago now, there were a few cases of people getting corona, getting better, recontracting it, popping their clogs up to clog heaven. That's right. So, bit of a game changer really, isn't it? I mean, other things, we get them and we're immune to them, right? So I'm not an immunologist, just in case you didn't notice. But, I'm just kind of guessing that most things, once we get them, we get past them, aren't we better? Oh. But I'm not sure because, look at the herpes virus, for example, because that lives and it goes back. But there's no vaccine against that, is there? So that's a bit complicated, isn't it? That's tying me up in circles and knots. Well, what's your thoughts? I'd love to know. But it's not really very promising if we've got people catching it, getting better, and then catching it again, popping their clogs just a couple of weeks later. That's not the best case scenario for us, is it? What we'd like is you catch it, you get better, most of us, apart from the evil ones. Just joking. Excuse me. That's not corona. I joked on some spit because I'm so funny. Right? Yeah, that's what we hope for. We hope you catch it, get better, most of us, apart from the idiots. Right? And, yeah, we're immune to it, isn't it? It's not the case. So, guys, I don't know. You tell me, does that make it more complicated? It certainly makes it more complicated in the sense that you can catch it twice and die. That's definitely a bit more... excuse me. No, go here. That's actually... But it's not scary. It's not scary. It just means that the quarantine business, as we're doing it at the moment, you may as well, honestly, just be sticking one finger in your bum, one finger in your nose and going, I'm doing a good job. It's not helping. It's not helping anything. Distancing, social distancing, obviously stopping spreading the germs. I'm all for that, of course. Unless you're in a Nazi camp. However, I do feel that during these times we should still be collaborating on community projects. I feel this is going to be the lifeline of the communities that survive and the communities that don't. I'm not being dramatic here. Yeah, so from what I can see and my intuition, I'm going to wrap this up with plan food. Get your hands on seeds. Make arrangements with your neighbours. For example, you grow marrows, they grow potatoes. The next door neighbour has some chickens. Let's get proactive. I'm fed up of seeing people say, oh yeah, I did my 30 squat thrust today. It's day number 3 of quarantine. It's like, listen, all this bullshit, just go and plant some shit, all right? Just go and plant some things which are going to feed your family. Plant some things which you can share with other people, and then they can do the same and share some things with you. And in Chinese, you can say to them, share, share. That means thank you. And they can tell you all about this mysterious book called the Book of Qi, and that means you're welcome. So you can say that to your neighbours, because it came from China. So when people give you some vegetables, you can say, share the vegetables, and they can say yes, they have been grown in accordance to the Book of Qi, which means, well, you're welcome in Chinese. It actually does, Book of Qi, actually. Anyway, Just thought that was quite funny as well. And on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you, but not for long. I'm always in the air, like springtime. When it is springtime, I'm in the air, like spring, when it's spring. Because it's spring now here in Japan. Blessings manifest. Thank you for listening to my rambles and my jest. Be well, take care, right? Loving? Lovings. Lovings. Blessings.